Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door for the Switch is $60 and people are not happy about it, but let me explain why I think this is not actually such a bad thing. First of all, we should all be grateful that this is not a $70 game, because if you look across the AAA landscape, 70 is the new 60 and that is the standard that most companies will price their game at. So at this point, I'm just glad for any Nintendo game to not be priced at $70. But more importantly, let's talk about how Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is a remake and not a remaster like so many people think. When the trailer for this game first came out, a lot of people were under the belief that this was a remaster. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, this game has completely new assets. I couldn't really identify a single thing that was reused from the old GameCube game. The assets themselves aren't the only visual change though. If you look at the animations in the overview trailer we just got, a lot of them are brand new and honestly they look way better than they used to. And of course, the entire soundtrack has been remade, and that is literally what is the definition of a remake. Everything from the old game being recreated. A remaster would simply be bringing the older version of the game into an HD environment, but this literally builds it from the ground up again. But these are all superficial things. What about the actual gameplay? Has that changed in any way? Well, honestly, the story and most of the gameplay is identical, because, well, why would you want to mess up something so good already? But Nintendo has actually added a lot of new features that improve the quality of life in the game. I think one of the biggest complaints about The Thousand Year Door when it first came out was how much backtracking there was. I mean, all I can remember is certain chapters where you had to go back and forth, and if there was one feature I'd like to add into the game, it would be fast travel. Based on some of the information Nintendo has given us on their store page for this game, we know that the quick travel pipe system has been completely revamped, and I am excited to see what that's like, because you know, it feels good knowing that Nintendo knows what their fans want. In addition to fast travel, Nintendo has also added a partner ring to swap partners faster. Now I'm sure if you saw the trailer for this game a couple months ago, you would have noticed this interesting toad that wasn't in the original game. Well, this is actually the Battle Master, which they've added to give tips and help with the combat system, which I personally won't be using, but I'm sure for anyone who is inexperienced with this type of game, they'll like it a lot. Oh, also, just like Super Mario RPG's remake, they added a feature where you can turn on the older music in the form of the Nostalgic Tunes badge. So if you're not really a fan of the new style of music they've used for this game's soundtrack, well, you can just turn on the original for no cost. But besides all of these gameplay features, a huge reason as to why they're going to charge $60 for this game is because they're marketing this as a completely new addition into the Paper Mario series. Look, we should be realistic here. The Thousand Year Door is like 20 years old. If you were a marketing executive at Nintendo, do you really want to market it as a remake or a completely new game? I mean, at this point, there's so many kids out there who've never experienced the original Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door that why not just make it seem like a new game? If you market it as a remake, you'll risk people just not getting it because they didn't experience the original, so maybe they're not going to be into this one. But since they're marketing it as a new game, that brings so much more intrigue for this specific title, not its predecessor. And considering how well the Origami King did, it wouldn't be surprising to see how many new Paper Mario fans there are who haven't played The Thousand Year Door. So of course, a $60 game is expensive. I'm not saying that it's not, but I think we should probably be a little bit more appreciative of what Nintendo's doing and what they could have done instead. Let's be realistic here. Nintendo will always sell well. It doesn't matter how bad their games are, how buggy they are. Anytime they release a named title like Pokemon, Mario, they can charge whatever they want. It really does not matter how good the game is. If Nintendo wants to charge $70 for a game, they're gonna do it and it's gonna sell basically the same as if they did charge $60. I don't know, just take a look at the Pokemon series. People have been complaining how it's been getting worse and worse, and I agree, but it doesn't matter because every game that they release, it just sells like the best ever. Every new Pokemon game is an all-time seller. Isn't that fascinating? How the core fan base is getting angrier and angrier with the company, but it continues to sell better and better. Because we can't undervalue the new generation of Nintendo fans. And that's why I think I'm extremely grateful that this is not $70, because I think I would have still bought it anyway if it was. And you know, I'm glad to save an extra $10 any day. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you going to be buying The Thousand Year Door? Because I certainly am. I mean, this is gotta be one of my favorite games of all time. If you want to hear more about Thousand Year Door as we get more information and when the game comes out, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.